Welcome to the Help Her Be Brave podcast show, where we have great ideas on how you can help save lives. I'm Amy Ford.
And I'm Jessica Russo.
And today we're going to be talking to our sweet friend, Abby.
Yes.
She actually went through Embrace Grace 7 years ago, and she is a birth mom. And she's just stayed connected with us all this time. We've been cheering her on just as she goes through life and now married and all of that. And she's so bubbly and so adorable. Y'all are going to love her. Hey, Abby, thank you so much for being on with us today.
Oh, I'm so honored, you guys.
Well, you're our favorite, that's for sure.
For real.
Well, we told everybody a little bit about you already, but would love to just start from the beginning. Tell everyone your amazing story.
So, when I was 18, I found myself in a place where I knew the Lord my whole life, knew about the Lord. Never was without the knowledge that God loved me. My mom really was the priest of our home. As I did come from a broken family, but my mom just was really intentional about making sure that God was the basis of everything that we did. And I knew all those things, but I just was really not ready to let Him be the Lord over my life. And so with that, I would make choices after choices that I knew were not going to be choices that were blessed. And then there just came a point where I stepped out under the hand of God's protection, and I found myself 18, single, and pregnant, and to a guy then a baby daddy was a guy that I knew I didn't even really want to be in a relationship with, much less parent a child with him. And also the whole time that I was, sexually active outside of marriage, I said, if I ever got pregnant, I would just place for adoption. But then when it's time to walk that walk, it feels a lot harder. So that was my first instinct, was I'm going to place for adoption. But then as I got deeper into my pregnancy, could feel that baby, I started to question that choice a lot more. And I went to my first Embrace Grace group, and I remember after the first time I went home and I was talking to the Lord, because I quickly realized I am not going to be able to do this without the Lord, and also knowing the comfort that comes with just having the Lord present from my background as growing up in a Christian home, just knowing, okay, this is where I really need the Lord. I need the Lord at this point. And so I was talking to the Lord after my first Embrace Grace group, and I said, I don't know that I'm going to be able to do this, God. Like, these women, these amazing Embrace Grace women, are going to make me love this baby too much to place it for adoption. I'm not strong enough. And I felt the Lord very, very quickly say, I chose you for this because you're strong, and because you're going to you're going to let my strength work through you. And it was in that moment that I just said, okay, God, like, you take the reins on this. I'm trusting you in this. And that was really the moment where I recommitted that my whole life, that everything from that moment forward was going to be about what was best for this baby and what the Lord wanted for this baby and what the Lord wanted for me. And so we ended up finding an adoption agency that I loved, that was really small. And just through a lot of little God winks, I came to find my son's parents, and they, at that point, I really didn't know how involved I wanted to be. I just kind of felt like in that moment, I thought, like, okay, I want to have this baby and then be done with it and move on with my life. And but then as soon as I had my son, he, as a mom, you're like, I can't not have a relationship with this baby. And thankfully, his parents were so wonderful that even when I didn't know how involved I wanted to be prior to giving birth, they said, you can be as involved as you want to be. And so, after I did give birth and realized I can't be away from the love of my life, this little baby, I can't not be a part of his life, not see him. They were like, we're all in. You can be like, they really walked that walk out. They said, you can be as involved as you want. And so, we've gotten to develop, the Lord has allowed us and made a way for us to develop the sweetest second family, through my son's adoptive parents, to the point where my mom and I babysit him on a regular basis. We go to baseball games. My son's adopted dad, his family, we've gotten to be so close with them. We feel very much like kindred spirits. We know that the Lord putting us together was not an accident. And so we've just gotten to see that adoption, where it could in the past had such a negative connotation and felt like it was the end of the end of something, and just a shameful end to something that was already shameful or felt shameful. It got to be this beautiful story filled with hope, and I now get to tell moms that are considering adoption, like, you're not having to, you don't have to just have this baby say goodbye and forget about it. You can choose to pick a family that's going to love you and love your baby, and you can have a relationship with them, and you can choose what's best for them by having parents that are ready to parent them, but you can also get to experience and be a part of their life in the most beautiful way. So God's just done a tremendous fun thing through my story and just through my son and his parents, and it's just been wonderful. It's the most, I love my story, not just because it's mine, but because I truly believe it's so beautiful.
That's amazing.
Well, we love your story too, and it's such a beautiful picture of God's love, of this beautiful extended family, and your family by choice, by obedience through what God asked you to do. And it's some blood, some not, but it's like a heavenly family. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I love how I was at your celebration of life shower, and if anyone is listening and don't really know what that is, it's something that when you go through Embrace Grace and you choose to place your baby for adoption, after you place, depending on, when you feel comfortable, maybe around 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, we throw this party, and we just want to celebrate the birth mom and for her courageous decision. And it's just so sweet. There's never a dry eye in the room. Like, it's just the sweetest. And yours was unique because you actually had another mom in your group that placed as well at just around the same time. And what stood out to me about you, though, is that your adoptive parents came and brought the baby. Like, that has never happened at a celebration of life shower that I know of. And it
makes me want to cry right now.
I know, right? And that, like, the health and the, like, it just was so open, and to see your mom was holding the baby, and just so sweet and so amazing. And, the courage it must have taken. I know that the other birth mom in the group, she was a little bit more like not ready for it to be that kind of open all the way, and it was just two completely different ways of placing. And it's whatever that person wants. That's what's kind of cool about being a birth mom, is you have some decisions that you get to make, and then being able to trust the agency that you're synced up with, which I know. Tell us a little bit about the agency, that what made them set apart, because I know you didn't just look at that agency, you looked at several. Like, what made you feel comfortable with that one?
Right. We were given a list. It was awesome. I had the Lord put people in my life that have been in my life for years, family, friends that were wonderful resources. They were part of pregnancy centers and things like that. And so when they found out I was pregnant, they got to just overload me with resources. And one of them was just a list of adoption agencies. And we did meet with one other adoption agency. It's a bigger one that's fairly well known. And my mom and I met with them, and what we did not love, we kind of quickly realized that, what we perceived was that the adopted mom was second to the birth mom was second to the adopted parent. And
like just they were more focused on the baby and the adoptive parent,
right,
and not
on the
necessarily
baby,
what you needed.
I kind of asked how quickly, like, when can I start meeting, like, when can I choose parents, because I wanted to be able to develop a relationship with them prior. And they're like, we won't let you sit for a while, and just realizing like they weren't really concerned with the health of me and the emotional health of me and the emotional preparedness of me. They really wanted to protect adoptive parents. And I know and I understand that, because it's such a scary thing for adoptive parents to potentially have this baby and then and not go the way that they think it's going to. And so I completely understand that. But just the adoption agency that I chose, they were smaller, so everyone there knew my name. Everybody there knew who I was, and their first thing was, you can go, or the first thing that they said was, we're starting counseling. And so I went in for counseling sessions, some by myself, some with my mom. And as soon as they felt like I was mentally and emotionally ready, they were like, let's pick families. And it was just so sweet, because as soon as I picked my son's parents, they got to take a picture, or they took a picture of me with my belly and sent it to them. And it was just very like fast process, because they were so they knew me. And so they knew they could trust me to know that, or they could trust that I was ready to pick a family. They could trust that and they could trust that I could trust that the people I was choosing, that they knew them deeply, because it was smaller. Right. So just like they knew me, I knew they would know the parents. And so it was very valuable how much they invested in me, and they continued to invest in me after placing. And so it was just a very sweet experience.
We're on a mission to equip churches across the globe to provide single and pregnant women with emotional, spiritual, and physical support. You and your church can be the answer to their prayers. You can help her be brave in her choice for life. To learn more about how your church can host an Embrace Grace support group, visit www.embracegrace.com.
How was your Embrace Grace experience, especially, not everyone in your group? You had one other mom that chose to place, but there were other moms that chose to parent. Like, did you feel like you got a lot out of going through Embrace Grace, even as a birth mom?
Oh yeah. I like I said, I loved everything. From the very beginning, I knew, I was like, man, these women love me and they love this baby, and they don't know either of us. And that was so beautiful.
Well, you are very easy to love, Abby. Very easy.
I was just so able to, I would realign everything that I knew as a child growing up, and all the things that had been instilled in me. Embrace Grace was able to kind of realign all of those, truths in me, and really getting to understand, like, I'm going to be a great mom regardless of if I parent or if I choose to place for adoption, because both are great mom choices. And just getting to know the leaders and that they knew me, and getting to continue having a relationship with them after, and that they continue to invest in me. It was just such a beautiful thing. And, the verse of like, train up a kid in the way they should go and they'll return to the Lord, that Embrace Grace really was so key in that they'll return to the Lord, because I was raised the way that I should go. But when it was time, Embrace Grace really helped me to align back to where I needed to be, and who God, and really embrace who God created me to be, who God says I am. And just all of those wonderful things. And so, because then after I placed, even though I didn't go on to parent, I was then able to go on with the knowledge of who I am in Christ, that I'm a daughter, that He loves me, that He's my daddy, and that I got to embrace that and own that. And so then I didn't, after placing, I didn't go back and fall back into the things that I had done prior, and all the things that led me down a road of darkness. But I got to continue to walk in the light post placement, and that's all because of Embrace Grace. It was so wonderful.
That is so.
And how long ago did you go through Embrace Grace, Abby?
7 years ago.
Wow.
7 years. My son is he'll be 7 in July.
Wow.
And I love you've stayed connected with us, and we've stayed connected with you all this time.
Well, we're not going to let you leave us.
Right?
No, it's my favorite thing.
And you've come back to volunteer with like baby showers and all kinds of
Right.
events at Embrace Grace Inc.
And we love how your son, you're married now. We haven't talked about that part yet, but you're married, and your son got to be your little ring bearer in your wedding, which is beautiful.
He got to come to our wedding, and it was the most special. I'll never forget that. That was the best thing. So fun.
So
Oh my
sweet.
goodness, we're so proud of you, girl.
Yes, totally. Okay, so one more question. Like going through all of that, if someone's listening right now and they're like, I really want to help birth mom and like be a support for her, what are some of the ways that she could do that, or he? Like what kind of what did you feel like you needed? Maybe by someone helping you, or maybe it's something that you didn't really have and you wish that someone had done.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first things first, especially in speaking to parents looking to adopt. Even though I know that that's not how to help birth mom, but it is in a sense. If you're looking to adopt, my first thing to say is pray for the birth mom, in that they would know the Lord deeply, whether it's prior or through their pregnancy, that they would get to know the Lord. Because I always say that I never for a moment regretted my choice of placing my son, and I know that it's because that the Lord made it clear to me that that was the best choice for him. And so because of that, I know that if birth moms don't know God, don't know Jesus, then they're going to question, and it's going to be hard for them. And so, and you want a birth mom that knows and loves the Lord and trusts the Lord. So, but as an advocate for birth moms, the first thing that I would say is I faced a lot of people who felt like I was taking the easy way out of my pregnancy. They felt like I should have had to parent and, take out the choices that were like the bad choices that I made, that essentially I should have to go through and parent. And I think what could have prevented that was just education of what it looks like to be a birth mom. And that, all like the emotional toll, and also just realizing and understanding that birth moms are brave women. And because I believe it's one of the hardest choices that anybody would ever have to make.
Yeah, I'm surprised someone would say you took the easy way out. This is extremely hard.
Yeah, so some people would definitely say that. But and also just knowing, like having resources that, which I found post pregnancy, but just really pointing birth moms to resources that really champion them and champion birth moms and give them counseling before and after. I really had all of that. I was really blessed to feel like I did have all of that, but I know that some people
don't have that.
Don't have that, and so they leave pregnancy really defeated and feeling really it being really hard on them, and it's because they didn't really have a lot of emotional and mental support through that. So
that's awesome that your agency gave you counseling, and plus you had Embrace Grace, and so
incredible.
Yeah, it was the best case scenario of the whole
100%.
situation. That's so great. Well, thank you so much, Abby, for sharing with us today. We are so proud of you and proud of who you are. I love your teacher now and married, and it's just awesome to see what God's done in and through you. And we're so thankful for your courage and sharing your story. Because we just pray that if anyone's listening, maybe they're pregnant and they don't know if they want to have this baby, that adoption can be, something that they can pray about. And, each person is totally different and they have to do what the Lord is calling them to do. But I know that your story is going to save lives. And we're just so thankful to be on this journey with you.
Oh, I love you.
Love you too, girl.
All right. Thanks, Abby.
I love every single word that Abby shared. I love how she is just bravely sharing her story and really educating people along the way without being like over educational. But some of the things that she talked about that just pinged my heart was like, pray for birth moms. Like, it is not an easy choice.
Yeah.
They are forever mamas, whether their babies are in their home or they place in another home. And as she was talking, I was even thinking about, some of the parents of Embrace Grace moms that we've encountered, that they find out their daughter's pregnant and their hopes and dreams they feel like are shattered for their daughter's future. And how even in that season of praying for the families that are making this choice of parenting or placing, to really put it in God's hands and not make that decision out of fear or scarcity or whatever. I'm just so in awe of Abby and her story.
Yeah, for sure. And I know her mom, I don't remember her saying what her initial reaction was, but I'm sure she can see now the beauty in everything that's happened. She may have had a shattered heart at the beginning, but like to see now just the healing that's happened, this adoptive family that has Beckett, like they are so precious and so amazing. And it's so beautiful how they all work together. She gets to see Beckett very often, and they do life together. Like she said,
like
it's
for
like
real
two
do
families.
Life.
Yes.
They're
So
at birthday
awesome.
parties and sports events. It's amazing.
It's totally cool. So I'm so glad you guys got to hear her story today and kind of give us a little bit of an ideas on what she really needed during that time, some of it she found out about after Embrace Grace, but really the counsel, an adoption agency that she knew that she could trust and that had her best intentions, and like actually cared about her and not just the transaction of, an adoption. This is about a transformative experience that they want to make sure that Abby felt completely surrounded. And then also, of course, Embrace Grace was a big part of that as well. And it was just an honor to walk alongside her. She wasn't in my group, but I got to be at her celebration of Life Shower and just getting to know her. And she blessed me so much by just her attitude towards the whole thing. And
even as members of the pro-life movement, whether it's on the sidewalks or in pregnancy centers, or you're the pro-life person at your church, having a list of adoption resources or birth mom resources needs to be part of our pro-life list of resources. And maybe even vet them out, go and talk to them and see, are they an advocate for the birth mom? Are they taking these steps so that we can refer moms to really encouraging healthy places?
Yeah, ask to talk to some of their birth moms that have placed with them, to ask what their experience was like. to have some endorsements or referrals would be super helpful. But thank you guys so much for listening today. And I hope that you're inspired to get involved in some way, maybe serving birth moms and whatever that you may have your own ideas, and just reach out and let us know, because we want to hear them, and we love ideas. And if you're still kind of stuck and you're not really sure, go to helperbebrave.com, and there's lots of ways you can try to generate some ideas through quizzes or through purchasing our book or listening to more of this podcast show. This is season 4. So there's been 3 seasons before this. If this is your first time to listen, there's so many great ideas, so many great stories that will inspire you. Check us out on both YouTube, that you could watch on YouTube, or you can subscribe through podcast on iTunes and Spotify, and share it with your friends. We would love to connect with all of them as well, because we really believe if all of us are doing our part in the pro-life movement and serving and giving in some way, we can really make abortion unthinkable, and that is what we want to do. So thank you so much for being on this journey with us. We love you, and have a great week.